What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a great wide receiver quiz on some of the best routes you guys can run against man coverage, okay? So if you guys aren't familiar with our quiz-style videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show 3 pre-snap looks, give you 3 specific routes that are all going to be great to use against man coverage, one-on-one situations, and then we're going to show how you can beat that specific coverage with that specific route. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to pause the video, think about your answer, and then I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and we'll explain the clip, okay? And again, if you guys have any kind of feedback, fellas, any kind of videos you'd like to see next, we always appreciate it. Don't hesitate to leave that in the comment section below. We love hearing from you, okay? So now, first things first, we got inside shade coverage like so. We are on the goal line, and you have to run a whip route. A whip route. So what a whip route is where you go up, you break to the slant, then you whip it right back out to the sideline. For those of you that don't know, some people call it a pivot, things of that nature. So against this specific coverage right here, how would you guys structure that route? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video. And now I'm going to break this thing down, okay? So now we have an inside shade guy. The important part that you want to know, though, is where we were at on the field, because we were in the red zone. We were right on the goal line, right? So normally what you could do on a whip route is you would maybe, if this guy was in press coverage a little bit closer, you could attack the outside, get him to go with his hips with you and slip back underneath and run the whip route and get him to speed, turn, and drive on the slant. But since he's off coverage like this and it's 2 to 3 yards off, if I attack the outside shoulder like so and he sits to the inside, I'm going to run the whip right into him. He'll be able to get hands and lock up this route. So if you said that you want to attack to the outside, try to get him to bite on the fade, then slip under, that would be incorrect. What you'd want to do is you would want to square him up in this situation, because he's going to do one of two things if you square him up. He's either going to sit there because it's the goal line, and on the goal line, DBs are taught not to backpedal, or he's going to keep his leverage to the inside. But when you square him up, you want to make sure that you have some space so he doesn't get hands and screw up the timing, and then I sell like I'm going to the inside. So let's play this thing full speed. So that's what this receiver does. He attacks the leverage, breaks to the inside, gets that DB to jump, and you got to understand the reason why we do that is because his whole MO on the goal line, and especially if you're an outside wide receiver and your split is wider, is to not give up the inside route. He does not have any kind of help to the inside. His help is the sideline. He's trying to squeeze you to the sideline. So he's going to do whatever it takes to not let you cross his face. So if we could square him up, keep some space, sell the slant, then whip it back out, you can 100% do that. And if it's a longer slant, because this wide receiver kind of bursts and only does it's like a one-step slant right here. If you take 3 steps, that is 100% fine. I've seen Jamar Chase do things like this, but that is one of the best routes to work against this type of man coverage. Let's watch it again full speed one more time. Great job attacking him. Great job bursting to the inside and then breaking this thing right off on the whip route against inside shade coverage. Okay, so now we got inside shade off man coverage, and we're going to be talking about a double move route. But before we get into this double move, fellas, I want to talk to you about a great opportunity we are offering this offseason. We are traveling out to 8 more cities across the U.S. for 2-day-long quarterback and wide receiver training camps. We will also have DBs out here at these camps for one-on-ones, half-line concepts, 7-on-7 concepts, and things of that nature. So we are coming out to Houston, Texas in 2 weeks. Then we're coming out to Newark, New Jersey. That camp is completely sold out, fellas, so you cannot get any more spots for that. We appreciate the support from everybody who signed up for that camp. Then we're coming to Atlanta, Georgia, Columbus, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on our camps this offseason or like to come out and get some work in with myself and my staff of coaches, check out that very first link in the description below. The reason why we're limiting spots, I know a lot of camps don't do that because their whole MO is just get as many kids out there as possible and the experience isn't very good, is so we can actually give you guys a good experience where you learn, where you actually are taught certain things, where you're actually taught how to beat this coverage, how to go about this, how to go about that. And we actually coach you, because that's the whole point of training, is to actually be taught and to actually be coached. And that's what we are doing. So we're only limiting spots to 10 to 12 guys per position group, per age group too. The camp will be split up into a youth section and a high school college section. So if you guys want some more information, like I said, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. So now I got to run a sluggo route against an inside shade off man coverage guy, maybe about 6 to 7 yards off. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and pause the video. Think about how you would run a sluggo versus this coverage. And now you go ahead and play the video, and we're going to break this down. So now, first things first, I'm going to play the clip full speed. So this receiver does textbook what you want to do. Break to the slant, get him to jump, and then burst back up to the outside. Now, really, honestly, this is kind of like a trick question, because if you said stem him, break to the slant, then break out. The problem with that is that when you stem him to the inside, he's going to keep his leverage. And when you break to the slant, you have to get all the way back to the outside here. And because you stemmed him, it takes a while to get to the spot the quarterback needs you to be at. And also with certain plays like this, spacing matters, right? Especially on double move plays, spacing matters. We don't want to run into other route concepts. We don't want to do things of that nature to get that DB way off of the platform or angle my route way off of our platform, which is essentially this like straight line that goes up the middle of the field that a quarterback would try to keep me on a deep ball like a fade or a sluggo, for example, right? So again, to get this guy to bite on the slant, you just want to attack the outside shoulder off the line because I want to get him to think fade. Maybe he opens up and then I'm trying to break back under and I need to really emphasize selling the slant and crossing his face because just like the whip route that we talked about, this guy does not want to give up what? Does not want to give up the inside. So if you attack outside shoulder, you threaten him vertically, then you break to the slant, he's going to overcommit because he's thinking, oh crap, I don't want to get beat on this thing in front of my face. That's where I'm not supposed to get beat. And then that opens up plenty of space for me to the outside. So if you said square him up and attack his leverage, that would be wrong. And also we're not on the goal line either because now he can actually weave. He's not just going to sit there like on the whip route would because on the goal line, the DB's not going to backpedal. And if you said that, you'd be wrong. But if you said attack the outside shoulder, then break to the slant, then break upfield, you would be 100% correct on that. So let's watch this thing full speed. Great job by this receiver attacking, getting him to jump on that slant by making it all look the same. You got to think on those double moves, fellas. How would you run an actual slant? How would you run a real slant in that situation? What's going to work to get that DB to move to his leverage? Because that is where we want to always, always attack. Okay, so now this route right here, this is not this is not necessarily the route that this receiver runs, but it's the same type of release that he takes, so it'll be a good example to see. But we want to talk about how would you guys run a post route versus this inside shade press coverage look. Okay, so post route versus this specific look. You guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about how you would run this route. And now you guys can play the video, and let's get back to this breaking this thing down, right? So now, this guy's inside shade, and you have to run an inside breaking route like a post route. Now, so many wide receivers struggle with this when it's man coverage. What they struggle with is they break this route off wherever they feel like it, right? Now, here's the thing. Like, if you're playing on a field that's grass, not yardage, you don't know where you're running at, I understand. I get it. But if you're playing on a real field with yardage, you have landmarks, spacing matters, in a real game situation, because that's what I'm trying to get you ready for. I'm trying to get you ready for a real game situation that's actually going to apply. And a lot of guys, what they'll do is when they have inside shade coverage, they'll force the inside release. This DB will get hands right on their hip. He'll reroute him all the way over the middle, and they'll break off the post at like 7 yards. That's not the depth of the play, nor is that the spacing that you need to be able to create separation in a real game scenario. When you guys are doing one-on-ones at school, one-on-ones, 7-on-7, whatever the hell it is, you got to make sure it's realistic. You cannot go out there and just run routes because that's not going to translate when the pads come on. The whole point of this is to get these skills to translate when the pads come on. All the best guys, they know how to get to the depth of the route, get to the landmark, and have a free release so they can keep timing with the quarterback. So how do we do that? When he's inside shade, you don't want to just take off and run to the outside now either. So if you said, oh, okay, I'm going to square him up and take the inside release, that would be incorrect. If you said, I'm going to give him just like a quick move and then take the outside release and go fast because it's a post route and I got to get up into the route, that would be incorrect. You want to threaten his leverage to the inside, actually step outside of his frame, work him and threaten him on the slant to move him. Then I work to the outside to either restack or to throw by. And if you guys said that scenario, that would be correct because top of the route can change. Top of the route's more of a reaction thing. Yes, I want to restack on every single route. But if I don't do it and this DB plays well, I can't just give up on the route and quit and try to round it and run around him like so many of you guys do. I have to throw by at the hip, throw by at the shoulder, whatever it might be. So this receiver does it incorrectly. He doesn't run a post, but it's the same type of release, right? So what he does is he just tries to take off. He just tries to get up into the route fast. DB's inside shade. Oh, I'm just going to take what he gives me, go take the outside release, which is correct, what you'd want to do, but you have to threaten him first. So let's watch it full speed. So he just takes off and looks what happens. Could he run a post from right here? Absolutely not. Could not run a post from right here. This is just too much space. DB's over the top. We can't throw by. We can't do anything. If you guys just run wide, A, you're not restacking, so you're not setting yourself up in a good position. And B, you got no separation. You have to threaten the guy to his leverage to open up the free release to give you some space to operate. Trust yourself at the top of the route. So that's how you guys would run a post against that coverage. We'll play the release one more time. This receiver honestly got locked up on this play. This ball was kind of thrown like Just honestly, just good coverage by the DB. There's not much where the quarterback could put that thing. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave that in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback, and obviously, it's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out to one of our 8 off-season QB wide receiver training camps, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd absolutely love to have you out. Again, 2 whole days of coaching with me and my staff of coaches that I'm going to be bringing down. You guys will be working against DBs, getting 3 hours each day of specific one-on-one pretty much coaching where we break down the things you need to get better on, not just run you through some drills, okay? So very first link in the description below. We would love to have you out. I'll see you guys next time.